What's going on, Oklahoma City Thunder fans? Hey, listen up. If you were needing a reason to make anybody that is an NBA watcher, an NBA goer, or any of these talking heads to believe that Oklahoma City is legitimately a championship contender, then you're just going to point to game one for Oklahoma City against the Memphis Grizzlies in round one of the NBA playoffs, because there probably couldn't have been a better statement made in a game one for Oklahoma City. Shai struggles from the field, yet Oklahoma City annihilates Memphis by over 50 points. And then you look at the balanced scoring up and down the bench. Oklahoma City, they might be changing the narrative. Now, of course, today we got to talk about the 131-80 win for Oklahoma City over the Memphis Grizzlies. Before we do that, though, as always, I want to hear from y'all. So join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Give me your thoughts. And if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and hit the subscribe button. But, of course, like I said, today we got to start off with talking about some of the biggest topics that you can take out of this game, some of the biggest talking points. And going into the playoffs, I think, some of the noise that you heard from talking heads over at ESPN or Fox Sports was, what is Oklahoma City without SGA in the playoffs? If SGA has a bad game, is a J-Dub or a Chet Holmgren or any of these guys able to step up and, basically carry the load? Because all season, the narrative has been that SGA is carrying this team, which is why he's an MVP favorite, but that's just purely not true. The supporting cast around him is absolutely phenomenal, and that was in full effect today. You saw J-Dub go out there, take care of business. I think he grabbed 20 points. You saw Chet Holmgren take care of business, and you saw key role players like Aaron Wiggins go out there and show why they could potentially go to any team and be stars on those teams. And if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, I think you feel really, really good about this win against a Memphis Grizzlies team that is not a bad team. This Grizzlies team is, I think if they were over in the East, would probably be a 4 or a 5 seed over there. So the Grizzlies team is a very good team. If they were in the East, they would be one of the better teams over there. And Oklahoma City came out there and just annihilated them, beat the brakes. They set the tone. And I think that's important, right? Oklahoma City not only set the tone for this series, they set the tone for the playoffs to try to help erase any narratives that any of these major talking heads that, although sometimes it feels like they know what they're talking about, they really don't know what they're talking about. But at the end of the day, if you're looking at this for Oklahoma City, you can't be any happier with the outcome. Maybe you wanted a 70-point victory to kind of help account for 2021 when the Memphis Grizzlies beat Oklahoma 152-79. But you heard Mark talk about that in the postgame, saying that that is not something that they even thought about during the game. But it's something that Oklahoma City Thunder fans were thinking about, because we were getting dangerously close at some points to maybe trying to get to that spread right there. But the Oklahoma City Thunder here, interesting note about this win. Thunder's 51-point victory is the largest game one victory in NBA history. This is also their 5th largest in any playoff history. So you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder out here setting records, even without SGA being a dominant figure. He had his lowest scoring game of the season, and Memphis couldn't even take advantage of it. And one of the biggest topics that you could take away from this, one of the biggest talking points outside of SGA having his lowest scoring game of the season and still annihilating the Memphis Grizzlies, is the defense. We've talked about this defense helping carry the Oklahoma City Thunder this season, and how if they play the defense that we know they can play in the playoffs, this team has a better shot than anybody else to go out there and win a championship. But from start to finish, even when the Oklahoma City Thunder's offense was not clicking in the first quarter, because the first couple of minutes, it did not look great from the offense, but it slowly started to pick up. Defense, those turnovers led to easy buckets, and you started to feel some momentum in Oklahoma City's way. And although it was still a pretty close game, 12 points after the first quarter. Really felt like the floodgates were about to open. And that's where it did, because Oklahoma City got 36-16 in the second quarter. And then in the fourth quarter went 44 for 27 and then only scored 19 points in the fourth quarter, but held Memphis to only 17 points in the fourth quarter. Multiple times, 2 quarters in this game, you held Memphis to under 20 points, 3 quarters, 20 points or under. That's the defense that is going to win you a championship in Oklahoma City. And that's the kind of defense that you are going to have, especially once you get into the later rounds, when you're going to have to play potentially a Los Angeles Lakers or a Minnesota Timberwolves. Or you have to go play potentially a Clippers or a Nuggets or Houston, any of those teams, right? Oklahoma City's got to have that same stifling defense. And then when they get to the East, it's a whole nother story. You did so well against them, you got to repeat that again. But the big thing here is Oklahoma City shoots 50% from the field versus Memphis 34% from the field, 35% from three, where it felt like they shot better than that, but Memphis only shot 17%. Oklahoma City had 16 turnovers. You want to clean that up just a little bit. You ideally don't want to have more than 10 in the playoffs. Memphis had 24. Oklahoma City out-rebounded them 54-43. And on an Easter day where I had my own questions about what the crowd was going to look like at Paycom, it was a pretty decent crowd. Now, I will say, by halftime, it felt like the life completely left the crowd because Oklahoma City was just up so much. It was like, all right, well, like, how loud do we have to be? Like, how much does the team actually need us here? But your leading scorers in this game were Aaron Wiggins with 21 points for the Thunder and Marvin Bagley with 17 points. And I believe it was halftime where he hit that half-court shot, right? Marvin Bagley with 8 of 8 from the field. But if you're Memphis, you can't have Marvin Bagley being your top scorer. You need more from Ja Morant. Now, I think the question is, is Ja Morant still completely healthy? Is that ankle still bothering him just a little bit? Or is this going to be the Ja that we're going to see all series? If you're Memphis, you need more out of him. You need more out of Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson was a defensive player of the year just a couple of years ago. Jaren Jackson needs to step up. And if he can do that and Ja can do that, they're going to make it a little bit tougher for Oklahoma City. Not saying they're not going to get blown out again, but they're going to make it a little tougher. They can close the gap a little bit. But you can clearly tell Memphis fired their head coach before the playoffs started. Because at times it felt like Memphis was not moving the ball well. And Oklahoma City, you could tell, was the better coach team. They were able to take advantage of Memphis not moving the ball well. And multiple times, you saw Cason Wallace coming up with big-time steals. And although I don't think in the scoreboard, it only shows that he has one, there were multiple times where Cason came away with the ball, but the ball was blown dead, or he knocked it away and somebody else got it. I think what Cason Wallace did for you in this game, I don't think can be underscored. Now, you look up and down the stat sheet here for Oklahoma City. AJ Mitchell is a -1. Dylan Jones at a -4. They're your only 2 Thunder players in the minus category. AJ Mitchell, though, coming off that injury, this is great experience for him, especially as a rookie, being able to kind of get back into game shape, which is great. A lot of these guys lower on your bench that maybe in some games aren't going to see the court got to get out there and have a quarter and a half's worth of experience of playoff play. And that's going to be important for Oklahoma City. Not to mention SGA and Chet and Jalen and Isaiah Hartenstein and Dort and all these guys, they get more rest. They get more of an opportunity to be on the bench, get rest, prevent from getting hurt. And the Memphis Grizzlies, well, they've got to keep rolling out their starters. I mean, they had to keep playing. I mean, you kind of want to get some momentum and some chemistry going. But coming back on Tuesday, I don't feel like there's going to be a lot of hope for Memphis to think that maybe they can grab one on Tuesday. I mean, this is kind of one of those games where if you're Memphis, you're kind of asking yourself, are we about to get swept? I mean, I had people texting me while I was at the game saying, yeah, Memphis is about to get swept. This is terrible. Which, if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan, that's what you want. I mean, obviously, you want to see the Oklahoma City play games, especially at home, but you want them to sweep the Grizzlies, and you want them to sweep the next series because you want them to be as fresh as possible for some of these tougher matchups coming in the conference finals and the NBA finals. So the Oklahoma City Thunder win 131-80, complete annihilation for SGA, J-Dub, and Chet in this game. And you saw a lot of great things, especially with guys like J-Dub stepping up, shooting 10 of 16 from the floor with 20 points. Chet Holmgren getting 19 points, 5-11 from the floor, shooting 3 of 4 from 3, grabbing 10 boards. I think that was important. While SGA had a bad night, shooting only 4 of 13 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3, and only 15 points. I think that was extremely important to have a night like that. It builds confidence for the other guys, and then, well, it helps Oklahoma City Thunder fans shut everybody else up. Because when Shannon Sharp goes on First Take on Monday and tries to say Lakers in 5 because the Lakers are down 0-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, he ain't really going to be able to say much about the Oklahoma City Thunder outside of good things for beating the Memphis Grizzlies. So jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe button.